So this is a really hot weekend in Chicago. It's probably running over 100 degrees in the sun and, you know, about 95, 98 degrees in the shade. So a lot of my orchids are getting spotty from being out here, but also I am going through my collection and figuring out which orchids are getting too much light and which ones aren't getting enough. So a blooming orchid that I discovered today is this Brachycattleya hippodamia. It's got a second bud right here. It's facing toward the sun and of course being blocked by that vanda. Right down here, this is my Jill Cindron. It has just one flower. It looks like, based on the stem, the other buds fell off or didn't form properly. My poor little variegated Neo Phoenicia. This was from New World Orchids, and it is Soruga Forinken. I think it was getting too much sun. So you can see here's a second fan that has grown, and it's okay, but the original fan I got with this turned all yellow. So I have moved it sort of underneath my Guatemalensis to give it a little bit more shade. You can see that my Guatemalensis is getting a lot of light. Here it's got some sunburn already. Most of my Cattleyas do get some sunburn in the summer, just because I give a lot of light. You know, I want to give them as much sun as possible that they can take without basically crisping. So some of them do get some burned spots. I have one bulbophyllum. This is Elizabeth Ann Buckleberry. It used to be in the Certopetalum category, which has been moved into bulbo completely. See what else that I have in here. You can see, I mean, you can just see a lot of stuff is getting a lot of sunlight. You know, I've got a lot of red on my Cattleyas here. This is what I consider the most southern or front of my growing area. Down here, I've got stuff with a lot of nodosa. You can see the stuff, nodosa can take a lot more light. So these guys right here are close to the front, but you know, they're still very green. But you can see stuff around it is getting like it's getting a lot of light. So some things can take it and some things can't. This is my Epidiffusum. You can see it's getting a lot of light. Look at how red those leaves are. What else is in bloom? And this is technically also a what is blooming update for June. I got a Aurantiaca Ruby Spangles, and it's done. So there went that flower. I had another blooming on this, which was Dendrobium Red Senator Maxim at the end of last month. So here, this plant really shows how the heat and the cold changes really damages the flowers outside. You know, the weather's not well controlled, they get wet. So you can see I get brown spots on the back, just like because the flowers, or rain at night and the flowers stay wet. And they just don't really last as long. You know, these flowers on these nobile type dendrobiums, if it was winter and it was a little bit cooler for them, could last like a month or more. But you know, like this one, been in bloom about 2 weeks. This is Oriental Smile Butterfly, and you can see it's fading already. I have an Encephalium coming into bloom right here. This is Shi Chang Hong. So we'll just get a good view of the flower. So I divided this Cymbidium a few years ago. There's another, at least one more division floating around. It didn't put out a new growth this spring, instead it put out a flower spec, so I hope it puts it out a growth later this year. You can see right here it was sitting in a space where the cats could get it, and they have had some fun munchie on it. My atropine by, I believe it's Cordillera right here, is coming out of bloom. My SOS Celebrates 50 is coming out of bloom. I mean, most of it you can see is done. Just this one flower kind of left right here. This right here, I'm not sure what that is. That is not a shari baby, because all my shari babies, I sent one away, and it was in spike, but this cannot be a shari baby. So this is, I gotta dig down, figure out what it is. Oh, here we go. This is Heaven Sent Sweet something. Heaven Sent Sweet Baby. I believe it might have shari baby in its background. So that's Heaven Sent Sweet Baby. This is my hula how right here. So you can see really on it all the sort of water damaged flowers from heat and cold and being wet at night. So, you know, if I want the flowers to look nicer, it needs to like go inside or someplace. This is my Epi Green Hornet right here. It has 4 spikes this year, which is less than other years, because if you look in the middle right here, it really needs to be repot. Needs to have those old bulbs taken off and repot, and just some more room to grow in. But it's starting to open now, but it's a long bloomer. It'll probably bloom throughout the summer very slowly. Each of those spikes, the flowers will open up. This is my Space Race Cocoa right here. So it's just got 1 or 2 flowers left in this one. I have a second one, an extra in bloom, that is doing much. The flowers look much nicer on it. This right over here is my Miltasia Dark Star Dark Vader. So it hasn't started opening yet, but it has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 5 spikes on it. So then those are big flowers when they open up. So, let's see, what else do I have? I have a lot of stuff in bud. This right here is my Penny Corota Spots. You can see the buds on it. Should be open soon. I have here, let's see, was it BC Brassiocattleya Sunspots? It's a Richard Mueller cross. It is Richard Mueller by Valazek. I bought this one and it came in spike, so I can't claim any credit for it. I'm planning to repot it into semi-hydro, but waiting for it to finish blooming. I have a no ID dendron. I think this was in my last update. It's still blooming. Look at that. So red. I mean, this is a fabulous red color. And amazingly, I think last year it may not have bloomed very well because Pinto ate a bunch of it, but this year I kind of hid it in the winter. In the middle of the epidendrums, and so he ate all the ones on the outside, but this one is still alive, meaning uneaten. Because apparently if you lose all your leaves, the orchid kind of dies. So Pinto's quite evil. Let's see, right here, this Fire Wings is still blooming. This is Wings of Gold. It doesn't stand upright. I'm gonna have to figure out how to repot it somehow. Let's see, it keeps falling over. Oh, falling over. Let me see. Adjust it a little bit. Come on, stand upright. There we go. And then this is another Fire Wings. This is my one that's like more like an alba. This one needs to be repot as well, but I am waiting for it to finish blooming before I do that. So these 2 flowers are going, and you can see they've just basically suffered water damage. But this one's still pretty sturdy, so we'll have to wait for that to finish up. I don't think I have a huge amount in bloom right now. A lot of stuff sort of coming in, prepping up. Like here, this is my shari, one of my shari babies. Right here, so you can see it has a long spike coming out. That's my other shari baby. It doesn't have a spike. This is my Fred Car after dark. You can see how big the growth is. This gave me 6 spikes last year, of which 4 actually survived and put out flowers. So I'm hoping this year I can remember to give it some fertilizer that will do even better. This is my variegated lemons. Say hello to my, oh, I'm trying to remember what, there's a name for it. It is, variegated lemons are, I think they're Eureka lemons. They're not Meyer lemons. This is, ouch, 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 ouch. It just says lemon variegated, but they're pink. So if you actually get fruit on these, the flesh of the lemon is pink with these variegated lemons. And I don't know if I'll ever get a lemon, but I love the variegation on the lemon tree. So so this thing is finally starting to open. It's got some ants crawling on it. If you look right here, let me get it in focus. It's very hard for my phone to focus on these narrow little, yeah, it's not focusing very well. But this right here is my Encyclia alata. So you can see that some flowers are starting to open now. If I can focus on it, because of course I can't because flowers are so small. But you can see it has, let's see, a lot of spikes. Just lots and lots and lots. See there, better contrast, all those spikes. I think I counted, I have 17 spikes. I thought I had over 20, but looks like 17 at last count. So that's opening up. Let's see, how else is everything else doing around here? Down there, if you look at those, not all sprouted, were the Blatia striata that I bought from a bulb company, and some of the bulbs were alive. Even though you can't really see it, there's right here like little bits of green on 5 of them. Only the one right here in the bottom left corner, I think the bulb did not alive. So I ordered 2 sets and hopefully I'll get 5 plants, which is pretty good. So that, I think, is the updates of all my good orchids. Oh, here, see, my precious pearl is still blooming here. Precious pearl, here we go. But yes, I think that is my not very many what's in bloom update for June.